For more than half a century, an esteemed lawyer, teacher, academic, judge, and justice, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has made vast and lasting contributions to the law and to the profession. An intellectual force on our nation's highest court, she has used her service to further the rational development of constitutional law for the benefit of our diverse society and future generations of Americans. Her pioneering work as a commanding advocate for gender equality has forever changed the course of our nation's history. As a law professor, she was an innovator in the classroom and inspired countless young lawyers to model her passion, her tenacity, and her civility. In each capacity, she has been a tireless servant of the law, summoning American lawyers to uphold and advance the highest values of our profession. For these reasons, and for her lifetime of service in the pursuit of justice, the American Bar Association today confers on Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg its highest honor, the American Bar Association Medal. But let me tell you a bit about her background. She is extraordinary. Born in Brooklyn, in New York, in 1933, the New York delegation is applauding. Justice Ginsburg's young life was marked by the tragic loss of both her mother and her sister. But such misfortune did not hinder her quest for excellence. And in 1954, she graduated first in her class from Cornell University with a Bachelor of Arts degree. In the fall, she enrolled in Harvard Law School, where she was one of only 9 women in a class of more than 500. At that time, she and the 8 other women in the class were asked to justify why they were taking places that would have otherwise belonged to men. When her husband, Martin, took a job in New York City, she transferred to the Columbia Law School and became the first woman to be on 2 major law reviews, the Harvard Law Review and the Columbia Law Review. In 1959, she earned her LLB, again graduating first in her class. At a time when society openly discouraged women with professional ambitions, Justice Ginsburg struggled to find work. Despite a glowing recommendation from the dean of the Harvard Law School, a sitting justice refused to interview her for a Supreme Court clerkship because she was a woman. Later that year, she began a 2-year clerkship for Judge Edmund Palmieri of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. In 1961 through 1963, she served as a research assistant and then associate director of the Columbia Law School Project on International Procedure, learning Swedish to co-author a book on judicial procedure in Sweden. From 1963 to 1972, she joined the faculty at Rutgers University School of Law, where she was only the 2nd female professor and one of only 20 female professors in the country. Later, she taught at Columbia Law School and was a fellow of the Center for Advanced Study in the Behavioral Sciences at Stanford University. Throughout her career, Justice Ginsburg has fought heroically for individual rights, especially women's rights. While teaching at Columbia, she also served as general counsel to the American Civil Liberties Union and was instrumental in launching its Women's Rights Project. As the project's chief litigator, she became a powerful advocate for the equal citizenship status of women and men as a constitutional principle. arguing 6 cases before the Supreme Court and submitting briefs in 18 more. She handled cases that fundamentally altered the status of women in American society. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's impact, however, was not limited to cases where women were victims of discrimination. Her steadfast belief was that law must give equal rights to all. In one case, she convinced the court that a portion of the Social Security Act improperly favored women over men because it gave certain benefits to widows but not to widowers. Her brilliant advocacy attracted the attention, and in 1980, President Jimmy Carter appointed her to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. 13 years later, she was nominated by President Bill Clinton to become only the 2nd woman to sit on the United States Supreme Court. While no other member of the bench or the bar has made a more significant impact on the interpretation of the Equal Protection Clause, Justice Ginsburg has also drafted groundbreaking decisions in the areas of employment and race discrimination, affirmative action, habeas corpus, and abortion. And much credit is owed to her for deepening the court's jurisprudence on preclusion, jurisdiction, full faith and credit, and other procedural issues of fundamental importance to separation of powers and the role of federal courts. To her 2 children and her husband, Martin, she was the personification of strength balanced by the full measure of kindness and love. She met Martin as an undergraduate at Cornell. Though seemingly quite different in nature, throughout their long life together, they had a wonderfully supportive relationship that was beautiful to behold. Indeed, the importance of her family is evidenced by the presence here today of her niece, Mindy Ginsburg, and Mindy's husband, Greg, and their 2 children. They're right down in front. Over the course of her career, Justice Ginsburg has shared her talents with the organized bar and many other legal organizations. At the American Bar Association, she served on the Amicus Curiae Committee as a council member of the Section of Individual Rights and Responsibilities, as a member of the Standing Committee on Federal Judicial Improvements, as a board member of the ABA Center for Human Rights, as a member of the ABA Journal Board of Editors, and as an active member in various committees of the Section of International Law. In 2005, she served as honorary co-chair of the Presidential Commission on the Renaissance of Idealism in the Legal Profession and contributed mightily to its work. She has chaired the ABA Center for Pro Bono and has been active on the board of the American Bar Foundation. She has served on the Council for the American Law Institute and has been active in the National Association of Women Judges, the New York and District of Columbia Bar Association, and numerous other bar and legal organizations. For her vast accomplishments, Justice Ginsburg has been recognized with many prestigious awards, including the ABA Margaret Brent Women Lawyers of Achievement Award and the ABA Thurgood Marshall Award. Not only, though, is Justice Ginsburg a brilliant lawyer and jurist, and who has had a profound impact on our law, but she has an incredible knowledge and love of the opera. And I've often seen her at many of the Washington Opera performances. She has been one of the most elegant role models for women lawyers in this country and around the world. A quote from her confirmation hearings captures Justice Ginsburg's essence. I like to be thought of as a person who cares about people and does the best she can with the talent she has to make a contribution to a better world. And she's done that. Indeed, the presence here today of her former law clerks from the Bay Area testifies to the incredible loyalty and support that Justice Ginsburg receives from all who've had the privilege to know her and work with her. The presentation of the ABA Medal to Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg presents our deep admiration for her personal courage, her incomparable intellect, and vast contributions to our profession, our society, and the pursuit of justice. We are honored indeed by all you've done in your presence.